So even though Democrat voters overwhelmingly want Biden to stay, the calls among the Democrat ruling elite for Biden to step down are escalating beyond belief. We've now got a Disney heiress threatening to withhold all high-ticket donations until Biden steps down. This is a threat from Abigail Disney, the granddaughter of Roy Disney, one of the two original co-founders of the Walt Disney Company. She has confirmed that she is indeed trying to pressure Biden to drop out of the race by withholding her mega millions from the party as a whole until they dump him. And she's encouraging other mega donors to follow her lead, which reports are more and more of them are doing. The mega donor class is basically trying to starve the Democrat Party into dropping Biden. The Economist is now joining the growing chorus of dishonest, duplicitous media outlets calling on Biden to withdraw from the race. Keep in mind, these are the same people that were supporting him when he was hiding in his basement just 20 minutes away from here. One of Biden's most sincere and ardent supporters over the last 3.5 years has been the liberals over at The Economist. But now, for the good of the nation, it's time for Biden to go, even though they're Brits, by the way. The Economist is a British publication. Here's what they said, quote, "The presidential debate was awful for Joe Biden, but the cover-up has been worse. The dishonesty of his campaign provokes contempt. He must withdraw." You know what provokes contempt, you lying scumbags over at The Economist? You know what provokes contempt? It's the fact that you knew this guy was cognitively declining. You knew it. You've known it for years, but you didn't give a rat's ass over it. That is what's provoking contempt for me. You are the self-proclaimed guardians of liberal globalism. You at The Economist are the dedicated defenders of the liberal international order, and you saw Trump as an existential threat to that order, and you deliberately backed a frazzled, dilapidated, demented man so as to shamelessly try to preserve that comparably frazzled, dilapidated, demented world order. And now that your lies have been exposed for all to see, what are you doing? You're doubling down on deceit. You're doubling down on deceit. You're blaming a cover-up. You're the effing cover-up, dudes. And now what are you doing? In the midst of being that cover-up exposed, now what are you doing? You're openly doubling down on thwarting the will of Democrat voters who overwhelmingly want Biden to remain as their nominee. You literally can't make this shit up. I mean, I want this to sink in. The leaders of the party who are claiming that Trump and his supporters are the threat to democracy are the very ones who are trying to deliberately disenfranchise 66%, a supermajority of their voters. These party leaders, these legacy media outlet liars, are openly trying to thwart what 2/3 of their party want. And they call us a threat to democracy. Talk about projection. And it gets even worse. Hey, gang, with everything going on right now, it's hard to say what could happen or what will happen. And to make matters even worse, we usually don't find out until it's too late. But when it comes to your money, you should understand what's at stake. That's why I partnered with Goldco. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of hedging future risks with the timeless value of gold and silver. And that's why you've got to click on the link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com to get your free gold and silver kit. Gang, it's an amazing free resource that shows you step-by-step how to get into precious metals tax-free and penalty-free, even if your money's still in a retirement account like an IRA or a 401k. And the best part is that you may already qualify to get up to $10,000 in free silver. You've seen the writing on the wall. Click on that link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com to get your free gold and silver kit right now, because this is about taking back control of your freedom and your privacy. We can't predict the future, but we can certainly prepare for it. So don't wait. Take action now to defend your freedom, your privacy, and your future. Click on that link below right now. Given that Biden is showing no signs of stepping down since he has 66% of his party behind him, now the 25th Amendment is openly being talked about. I kid you not. It just gets better and better. As far as Democrat insiders are concerned, if Biden won't step down, they're thinking of invoking the 25th Amendment to make him step down. Again, just taking a couple of steps back here, gang, this debate, I think we're safe to say at this point, this debate will go down in history as perhaps the single, not perhaps, it is the single worst presidential debate ever in the history of our republic. Remember, we talked about this with Rich Barris just the other day. Generally speaking, presidential debates don't matter. Okay. There were two debates that were very consequential. 1960, the Nixon-Kennedy debate, when that was the first televised debate, and Kennedy was your first televised president, really, in that sense. So you had the 1960 debate, Nixon-Kennedy, and you had the 1980 debate, the Reagan-Carter debate. That was their sole debate. I think it was just a week before the elections. And just Reagan did it, man. He sold it. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? It was the most brilliant question. It got tens of millions of people to say, no, we're not. And so they voted for Reagan. So those were generally agreed upon. Those are your two very consequential debates that impacted what happened in November in each of their respective years. This debate, the one we just all witnessed a week ago, that looks like it's putting those two debates to shame in terms of just how utterly consequential it was for the upcoming November election. I mean, seriously, gang. Seriously. I'll say it again. We are just over 100 days away from this election, and Donald Trump still does not know who his opponent is. You just have to let that hit you if you want to really get a sense of just how bad things are for Biden and the Democrats right now. We're just 100 or so days away from the election, and they don't even know who their nominee is. Yes, it's presumptively Biden. He has all the delegates that are legally bound to him, by the way, keep in mind. You can't just arbitrarily, hand those delegates off to someone else that voters did not vote for. Yes, Biden has all the delegates, but he doesn't have the donors anymore. He doesn't have the editorial boards anymore. He doesn't have the Democrat political class anymore. They've largely abandoned him. We just saw it the other day. Biden is trying to find a via media in all of this. So he just met with a number of Democrat governors in the hopes of shoring up their support as his campaign is just in a free fall, complete collapse. And frankly, it just got worse. We now know two embarrassing details that got leaked out of that meeting with the 20 Democrat governors. Of course, again, they all came out. So we're 100% behind Joe. Absolutely. He's got our support. But then they're leaking two utterly embarrassing details. First, Biden admitted to them he needed more sleep. He needed to do less work, cut down on events after 8 p.m. He literally said that. He needs to nap more, and he needs to cut off all events after 8 p.m. Don't worry about me, guys. I just need to work less and sleep more. Hit the sack around 8 p.m. So that's the first embarrassing leak. The second was the revelation of a secret doctor's visit, which was only disclosed because of this meeting. Karine Jean-Pierre, the borderline illiterate, who's the diversity hires White House spokesperson, she denied before that leak, she denied that Biden had seen a doctor. We now know he did. And Biden told the governors, don't worry, my health is fine. It's just my brain that has a problem. Now, Democrat staffers are trying to pass that remark off as a joke. Don't worry, the president's fine. It's just his brain. He was just joking, I promise. But literally everyone is like, dude, that ain't funny. I mean, there's nothing trivial about the fact that we all know. I mean, editorial boards included, that you're in obvious cognitive decline. So the governor's meeting was yet another disaster in a whole litany of disasters that began with last Thursday night. At the same time, the Trump campaign just dropped their latest ad on Independence Day. Gang, take a look at this.
Together, we are part of one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of America. It is the epic tale of a great nation whose people have risked everything for what they know is right and what they know is true. On this day, 243 years ago, our founding fathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to declare independence and defend our God-given rights. We will never forget that we are Americans and the future belongs to us. The spirit of American independence will never fade, never fail, but will reign forever and ever and ever. To every citizen throughout our land, have a glorious Independence Day. Have a great 4th of July.
Man, I mean, freaking wow. I mean, the contrast between these two campaigns could not possibly be more stark. Absolutely astonishing stuff.